Good morning, dear students. Today we shall start our first chapter of history: how, when, and where. Before we start the chapter, I just want to tell you that in class 7 history, we have discussed about the different Hindu rulers as well as the different Muslim rulers like the Mughals, the Delhi Sultans, about them all. In class 8 history, we shall be mainly dealing about the British period. The British, when they came to our country, what was their contribution, how they exploited our country. All these things are the subject matter of history of class 8 history. We shall start the chapter with the first point: how important are dates, why the dates are important. That's the first topic we are going to discuss. As you know, history is about changes that occur over time. As soon as we compare the past with the present, we refer to time. When we talk about time, it comes about dates. In very simple sense, what it means is that whenever we discuss about history, history means changes. And these changes, how we can understand about the changes? We have to compare the past with the present. Whenever we compare the past with the present, we talk about time, and whenever we talk about time, it comes about dates. And that's the reason why dates are important. You can see in page number 1 of your book, you can see here one picture is given in the first page of your book, and just downside the picture you can first of all see in the picture, this is a symbol of Britannia, that is the British power. You can see here the Brahmins, they are handing over all the religious books to this particular symbol. And in the downside of the picture you can see it is written here, Brahmins offering the Shastras to Britannia. The frontispiece to the first map produced by James Rennell. This James Rennell, he was the person who was asked by Robert Clive in the year of 1782. He produced the first map of India. So you can see here the picture of James Rennell. You can see the picture, who made the first map of our country, and he made the map in the year of 1782. So you can say this year is important. There was a time when history was an account of battles and big events. It was about rulers and their policies. If we want to know about this, dates are important. So the meaning of this is, history, sometimes it seems that it is about the different battles or the different big events that occurred over time. So if we want to know about these battles, about the big events, definitely we need to go for the dates, and that's the importance of the dates. Now comes the second point: which dates? All the dates are not equally important. The dates become important when we associate the set of dates with some events. If we link, if some events took place on particular dates, particular year, those dates are the important dates and we should know about those dates. Like in British India, different governor generals ruled our country. You know that the British, they came to our country and they ruled our country for many years. And during the British period, the head of our country was the governor general. And time to time, different governor generals, they came to our country and they ruled. The year or the particular date when they were appointed are important. So we should know about the dates when these governor generals, they were appointed. For example, you can see here in page number 3 of your book, here the picture of Warren Hastings. This is Warren Hastings, and he was the first governor general of India, and he was appointed in the year of 1773. So we can say that this year is important because this is the year when Warren Hastings was made the first governor general of India. Now comes the third point of this chapter: how do we periodize or how do we divide the Indian history? In the year of 1817, James Mill, you can see the picture of James Mill I have shown you here. James Mill, he was a Scottish economist and political philosopher. And in the year of 1817, he published one book of 3 volumes. The name of the book was A History of British India. And in this book, he divided the Indian history into 3 periods. The three periods were Hindu, Muslim and the British. That means according to him, India was ruled by the Hindus first. After the Hindus, then the Muslim rulers came to India, and after the Muslims, then came the British. According to him, all Asian societies were at a lower level of civilization than Europe. What James Mill felt that Europe was superior than the other countries. All the other Asian societies like India, they were at a lower level of civilization, but the European society was very much developed according to James Mill. According to his telling of history, before the British came to India, Hindu and Muslim rulers ruled the country. As I already told you that according to James Mill, before the British came to India, India was ruled by the Hindu and the Muslim rulers. James Mill also said that before the British rule, caste taboos, superstitious practices, these all dominated the Indian society or the Indian life. He felt that only British rule could civilize India. James Mill believed that before the British came to our country, different superstitious practices like belief in witchcraft or spiritual power, caste taboos, like we can cite the example of practice of untouchability, the sati system, these all dominated the social life of India. But we cannot believe that the periodization which James Mill offered is a perfect periodization, and that's the reason why some other historians, they divided Indian history into ancient period, medieval period and modern period. This is the actual division of history of any other country. But this division is also borrowed from the West. It is not our division. This division was also borrowed by the Indian historians from the Western historians. And that's the reason why some historians refer this period means the British period, as colonial. What is the meaning of colonial? Well, I'm going to explain you just in the next point. Well, what is colonial? When the subjugation of one country by another leads to different kinds of political, economic, social and cultural changes, we refer to the process as colonization, and that period we refer to as colonial. Let me tell you in detail what is the meaning of this. When people from one country will come to another country and will settle there, and because of their settlement, when there will be some changes in the country, that process is known as colonization, and the time taken for these changes is known as colonial. For example, the British, they came from their country to our country, and after the arrival of the British to India, lot many changes took place in our society, in our culture, in our dressing style, in our food habit, even the language that we are speaking now, English, that is also not our language, it is the language of the British. So you can see here, after the arrival of the British in India, different types of changes took place. This process of change is known as colonization, and the time taken for this change is known as the colonial. For example, the British period in India is known as colonial period. When the British came, after the arrival of the British in our country, political, economic, social as well as cultural changes were there, and that's why the British period is known as the colonial period. It is because when the British came to our country, they brought changes in every sphere of our life. They brought or made new policies, they dominated our economy, and they influenced different aspects of our social life. And since lot many changes took place because of the arrival of the British period is known as the colonial period in our country. Okay, now I'm going to explain you sources of history that help to construct the last 250 years of Indian history. Mainly here I'm going to explain you 2 points. One is administration. Administration produces records. One important source is the official records of the British administration. When the British came to our country, they kept the records of all their documents. They believed that the act of writing was important. Every instruction, plan, policy, agreement were clearly written up and preserved. They had their separate record rooms to preserve all these documents. So, what they did when the British came, they started to keep the records of all the instruction, all the plan, all the policy, agreement, this whatever they created, they kept one written record, and also they used to preserve them. And even today we can go through these records and we can easily construct the Indian history. Even today we can read these documents in the archives. Archives means you can see, or you can say, it's a building which was used mainly by the British for preserving the different types of official documents. You can see in page number, it is there in your book. Here you can see in page number 5 of your history book, it is given the National Archives of India. This National Archives of India, it came up in the 1920s, and this building, it was mainly used for preserving the different types of official documents which were made by the British. So if we go through all this, we can get the information about the colonial period. The second source was about surveys. The British government, they gave much importance in the practice of surveys. Now what is the meaning of survey? Survey means to know in detail about particular thing. The British believed that a country had to be properly known before it could be effectively administered. I hope everybody knows, or we shall be discussing in the other chapters of history, that the British, they came to our country as a businessman. I hope you have heard about the East India Company. That was the first company to come to our country for the purpose of business, and slowly and steadily they started to capture our country. And when they took the charge of the administration, they believed that the country must be properly known, and that's the reason why they started surveying the country. They started to collect information regarding different things or different aspects of our country. They started surveying the soil quality. They started to collect information about the quality of soil of the different places of our country, about the topography. Topography means the nature of land, what type of land is there in different parts of the country, as well as the cropping pattern, what type of crops are generally cultivated in our country. That was also surveyed by the British. Census operation. What is the meaning of census operation? Population counting. In very simple sense, we can say census means population counting. You can see I have tried to show you one picture. These census operations were held every 10 years. After every 10 years, they used to go for counting the population. At present time, this census operation is generally conducted after every 5 years. There were many other types of surveys like botanical surveys. You can see in the picture, botanical surveys means this type of surveys, they give us detailed information about the plant life. Botany, you know that it is a subject related to plant life. So botanical surveys, they give us information about the plant life. Also, they used to conduct the geological surveys. These geological surveys, they used to give us information about the animal life. Botanical surveys, plant life, and geological surveys, animal life. They also used to conduct forest surveys. You can see in the picture. In the forest surveys, they help us to know about different types of forest, about the different types of trees which are found in different types of forest, about the wildlife. All these things we can easily get from those surveys which were conducted by the British. So we can conclude that because of these surveys, we can know about the history of our modern India. The last part of this chapter is what official records do not tell. We already got that official records provide us with enough information to construct history, but there is a negative aspect about the official records. What is the negative aspect? They tell us only what the officials wanted. If we will be asked to make record, we shall write everything in our favor. Many a times we may avoid the actual things, actual happenings. The same thing happens with the official records also. Many a times the officials prepared the records in their own favor and neglected the originality of the event. Like when the British, they used to keep the records, they used to avoid the Indian culture, Indian society. According to them, as I already told you about James Mill, the Indian society was not developed. So like him, the other officials also who were in charge of making these records, they kept all the records in favor of the British government. If in such cases where the official records do not tell us the actual happenings, we can look for some other sources like the newspaper reports. About this we shall be discussing in the next chapter. It is there in detail. So these are the different points of this chapter. After reading this chapter, you need to underline all the important points. If any doubt is there, you can clear it from me, and then you should go for this following homework. You can see the homework is given here. Only 3 questions I have given. You read the questions carefully, find out the answer from the book, and write in your copy and send to me. Thank you very much.